Hello, and this is a wrap from Wednesday at Davos. We're at the halfway point now of the annual meeting of the World Economic Forum. We are filming here from the Promenade, which is the main street in Davos, where you have people heading off to receptions, to parties, as the conversations continue here at the World Economic Forum. It has been quite the day. I'm here with Mustafa Alrawi, Assistant Editor-in-Chief. I refuse to introduce myself. I think by now you guys know who I am, I hope. But it was quite an interesting day because we had the Chinese vice president give a speech where he was quite strong on the position with the US. And we also had the speech from Angela Merkel, who came out quite strong against nationalism.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like today, the second day of the World Economic Forum, was very much high energy, upbeat, lots of sessions. We had three main speeches. I mean, there were a lot of leaders talking today, but we started off earlier in the day with the Japanese Prime Minister, Shinzo Abe, who used his speech to talk about data and their G20 summit coming up that they're the hosts of in Osaka, and how that would launch a new culture for data that can help us innovate. And it's interesting that he chose to do that. He also took the time to congratulate himself for how well he's done at turning around Japan's economy.
Yeah, the Japanese were quite strong here today. There was also a briefing talking about Japanese economy, which is quite interesting. So yeah, they're here in full force, definitely.
Right. And then, as Mina said, the Vice President Wang of China, he rebuked Western countries for trying to rein in their tech companies. Obviously, there's a big issue with Hawaii at the moment, but in general, he said, governing technology should be a balanced affair, not just about developed countries, but about emerging economies too.
Yeah, the issue of tech governance is really big here at the World Economic Forum. It has been for several years. There's been quite a bit of talk on cryptocurrencies also. It's interesting because the last couple of years, cryptocurrencies were really seen, there was a buzz, and they were seen as the future. And of course, after the crash of Bitcoin, there's a little more realism when you're talking about cryptocurrencies. Another element that really came into play at the World Economic Forum today is the idea of how do you invest in humanitarian initiatives. They launched the World Economic Forum with the ICRC and the World Bank together launched an initiative called the Humanitarian Investment Initiative. The idea is, can you do long-term investing in humanitarian crises? And this is quite new because usually humanitarianism is about an instant appeal. There's a crisis, countries give money and that's it. Now there's increasingly interest from the private sector, and that's one of the strengths of the World Economic Forum, that they bring together these different stakeholders. You've got the international organizations, you've got the multinationals, you've got governments here sitting together. And I think that's a space that we should be watching, not only for the rest of the week, but in the coming year or two.
And I'll add finally, I was just across the street at Consensus. I was talking to their founder, Joseph Lubin. They work on building blockchains. They're doing work in the Middle East, in Dubai as well. And from everything they're telling me, I had like almost an hour-long chat with him and his colleagues. Blockchain really is happening rapidly on the ground, and it's all under the radar because the whole furore around Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies has kind of gone away.
Yeah.
So 2019 he expects to be a big year for blockchain, and he won't call it blockchain anymore, they'll just be apps.
Well, more to see. We've got 2 more days here at the World Economic Forum, and I'm sure blockchain, cryptocurrencies, the future of the economy, and the geopolitical uncertainties around us will continue to dominate the agenda.